Today, I want to have an honest conversation about eating less because somewhere along the way, we were taught that when it comes to weight loss, that less must always mean better. Not losing fast enough, probably should eat less. Scale hasn't moved, probably should eat less. Had an off-plan kind of weekend, better eat less on Monday to make up for it. And eventually, some people are trying to what I call like white knuckle, work so hard their entire way through life on as little food as they possibly can tolerate. But here's what I want you to hear, and take this with as all the love in the world. Being hungrier doesn't mean you're doing better. Your body does not hand out trophies for eating the least amount of food. And the goal of a really good nutrition plan shouldn't be how little can I get away with eating. It should be how well can I fuel my body while still moving towards my goals. Because when you force yourself into an intake that is way too restrictive for you, if we're being honest with ourselves, what usually happens? You're hungry, you're tired, your workout suffer, your recovery suffers, you end up moving less, you have all sorts of other just like stuff going on, you think about food constantly. And eventually you have that night where you're like, I blew it. You binge, you overeat, have a cheat meal, whatever it is that kind of like you want to call it. And then what do? We blame ourselves all the time. We say, I have no willpower. I can't do it. I can't get control of these cravings. And then Monday morning, we punish ourselves by restricting even harder. That, my friends, is not a lack of discipline. That is a cycle. I want you to remember the difference between the two. Sometimes the way that we break that cycle isn't by demanding more restriction from ourselves. It's by finally giving our bodies what they need. And what does that look like? Enough protein, enough carbohydrates, enough healthy fats, enough micronutrients, enough sleep, enough resistance training to build healthy muscle, enough food in general to train, recover, move, sleep, all the things that you need to actually live your life. You deserve that. You don't need to punish yourself with little food. You deserve to take care of your body instead of constantly trying to punish it into being small. That's a really big common theme that I hear. Punishing themselves into being smaller. And this is why, especially when I start working with someone, I'm often much more interested in fixing the foundation than immediately seeing how aggressively we can cut calories. I want to build a healthier human first. And yes, sometimes fat loss requires a calorie deficit. Sometimes calories eventually do need to come down, but that doesn't mean the answer is always to eat less. Sometimes we need to look at sleep, for instance. Sometimes we need to look at movement. Maybe we need to look at our protein intake. You hear me say that a lot. Maybe we need to look at our exercise. Are we doing enough to challenge our body? Our stress. Do we have a good handle on our stress? Especially my menopausal and perimenopausal women. Do we got a good handle on stress? Are we consistent with things that we do? Sometimes we need to just kind of simply give our body some time. So what I want you to remember is the next time the scale doesn't do exactly what you want it to do, don't immediately run into, oh my God, what else can I take away? I've given up carbs, I've given up sweets, I've given up alcohol, I've given up soda, I've given up all of these things. Flip the script. You know how I am about flipping the script. Look in the mirror and say, what does my body need from me right now? And when you're working with a coach, remember you came here because you wanted something to change. So give yourself permission to be open about doing things differently. You don't have to keep repeating the same strategies that haven't served you just because they feel familiar. At the end of the day, I don't want you to confuse less with better. We're not trying to build the smallest diet you can survive on. We're trying to build a strong, healthy body that supports the life that you want to live. That means we got to feed it accordingly. So make sure every day you just keep the promise to yourself. The promise that this time is going to be different. This time there's going to be change. This time I promise I'm going to show up for myself. I believe in you guys.